Let's paint it. Now that's going to be a pretty simple job today. It's a straightforward enough video. Block sand and paint silver. And if I get time, I'm going to put some silver on the tail as well, because I only had one coat, if you remember, if you're watching. But before I do that, I want to talk very quickly about sponsorship. There's been a few of you like to critique us. There's been a few snipes about sponsorship just here, about the decor I just put on. Look, honestly, we get an income from many sources on this channel, an income that helps to support this channel. And at the moment, there is a burgeoning mass of new people getting into Patreon. So we have a Patreon support. We have an amazing Patreon support. We consider ourselves truly blessed. We really do. We have 350 of you out there that have elected to be patrons. Some of you are patrons for a while and then you step back, and we are thoroughly grateful for everything you give, and we properly want you to stay with us. Do not ever consider that if you need to step back, or you feel you wish to step back, not be a patron and just still watch the videos, please don't go away. Please don't unsubscribe, because we'd like you to watch the videos. We're here to help you save money. We're not here to take your money. That's a complete contradiction. So if you feel you want to give us a little something for what you've learned, for the things that you've benefited from, then that's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it, and it so makes a difference. With AdSense, which is the original old way of funding yourself, now the crowdfunding platform of Patreon, with that forms about 90 to 95% of our gross income. That's the money that we get for all this, all the materials. You saw the paint the other day in the box. That box of paint was £35, I think, in all, 30 quid, something like that. The steel was, well, you saw all the bills the other day. You know, we've spent just under £3,000 so far on that pig up on the bench. £3,000, and it looks like it doesn't look anything yet. And that's how it is with a project. This project was embarked upon simply to be able to give us a long-term, 2-year stream of videos with which we can teach and impart knowledge to our viewers and help them to learn things. And we've covered many skills. We've crossed many genres as we've gone down that 2 or 18-month period so far. And hopefully that's where this bike has paid for itself. The money that we get back from our patrons has paid for that bike, which meant that basically it's all self-funding, which is what we need. However, we still are overcome by our bills. We do make a meal out of our videos. We do our best. I know some people just throw their videos up and edited, and maybe that works for them. But for us, we want polished videos that you can watch. You can grab a coffee, sit down and watch on your TV, not just something you watch on your phone on your way to work. It's got to be something meaningful for us. Otherwise, we're not interested. Also, all of the effort outside of the making of the videos. This camera that you're watching on, this was a necessary purchase of £950 some 3 months ago, because the old one took a dump for the 4th time. This is the 5th camera we've been through. They are finite. These electrical goods don't last forever. The GoPros as well, we had to buy those because they formed a great asset to what we do. Also the outside riding videos, they really help us with that. So there we are. So what we've done is we have managed to filter out from the white noise of offers of stuff that come at us. Please promote our goods. Please, if I send you this indicator for your bike, will you show it? Honestly, we get it every single week. We get 2 or 3 a week coming at us. New people developing new products. They want them promoted on the internet. They offer them us. We just turn them all away. I'm just not interested, because there's lots of people doing that out there, and there's lots of it to watch. What we want to do, if we do anything with sponsors, and I think you know this by now, if you know us at all, we want to make it meaningful. We will sponsor, or we will accept the assistance of a sponsor if 2 things are in place. One is that we believe in the product, that we believe in it, we truly accept that it is a good thing, and that we would buy it for ourselves, because there's no point in us saying, look, this is good, if it ain't, is there? So that's the first thing and the most important thing. And the second thing is they need to give us some to give to you, because all the things we get given, we make sure we give them away to you as prize draws. The prize draws aren't the most popular thing in the world. They are probably our least popular videos. They get about half the hits of the rest, but they do get a great big following, 3,000-4,000 hits every single one, and loads of you absolutely love it. And ask anybody who's won something, they'll tell you they're really worthwhile. So there we are. The prize draws at the moment, as you can see, are sponsored by Sealy and by our friends at Weha. Weha tools, we believe in them. They're German made, they're of a high quality, and they're unique in the tool market. Sealy, on their hand, have an enormous breadth of different tools. They can cover anything, whatever you need. If Sealy have got it, well, let's put that another way. whatever you need, Sealy have got it pretty much one way or another. So that I like, that breadth, that wide encompassing range of anything you'll possibly need. They've got a version of it that will work for you. We are, on the other hand, very specialised, and I think the two dovetail quite well together. They are currently our minor sponsors. They give us enough just to top up and pay all the bills and keep this channel free at the point of delivery. I rue the day, I truly do, that this ever becomes pay-per-view. I will leave YouTube if this becomes pay-per-view. If you, our viewers, have to pay to watch us, I'm done. I'm out of here, and Penny feels the same way. This has to be free. Otherwise, it's a contradiction. You may as well go and buy a movie or go on Netflix, because that's what that's all about. That's why all the people involved in it are zillionaires. We are the real people. We are the ordinary people. And that's enough of a rant. Before I get on my soapbox and fall off and break my neck, I'm going to crack on with this. Let's do some block sanding and get stuck in. Thank you for all of your support so far. Let's get on with it.
A tear rolls down your cheek, you start to weep from all the hurt, the pain, the lying. Regrets don't help you sleep. They're the one thing you don't keep. I know you and I know you'll be fine, just so you know.
Stage at where we are here. Right, you can see in here these little kind of dots as you go down. They're filling up little dimples. So when I welded that the other side, that's where the little tack welds that go across inside made slight imperfections to the metal. They slightly distorted it. Many of you guys say, why don't you just TIG weld along there? Well, you must be geniuses, because if you weld any sheet metal, it will buckle. Even tacking it buckles it. And there are more this side. These little dimples, there were more of them, but I've just rubbed down through them to make them gone. And now, when you just use touch, I mean, there's another perfect example. 1 layer, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's one grey underneath that, then there's metal. So that gives you a perfect example. You can use 3 colours, 4, 5, 6 colours if you really want to, but don't make it complicated for yourself. But just feel it. Get to this halfway point and just feel, knowing where to stop and when not to go any further is the trick, because you can just keep going until you rubbed all the paint off, and then you've ruined everything. You have to start again. But that feels lovely now, and underneath 6 coats of silver, that shouldn't show. There's a little imperfection there I can just feel, and it's where the filler there was a little bit low, so I'm just going to put a few strokes of the paper in there. Again, these little dimples, all these little dimples along here are where the primer, this yellow spray putty filler primer, is filling up the dents. I can't feel that. You put your hand along there, can't feel a thing. If you shut your eyes and do that, it feels mirror smooth. So that's all that block sanding working, and it's all the layers of filler doing their job. Same on the side. Interestingly enough, I said that this was a perfect curve. I took hours to get that curve absolutely right, and there's a little shade across there. There's a shade, you can see it just there, just telltale, and there's a shade across there where I'm sanding perfectly along, and they're low spots. So there are kinks in it. Even though they're invisible in the steel, they're invisible in a single coat of paint, they're not invisible when you start putting multi-layers on. So when you drop the final coat, if this was the top of a fuel tank or it was the top of a bonnet on a car or something, then quite simply you'd see that straight away. You put the top coat on. So this is what you block sand for. There we are, enough chat, let's get on with it. A little bit more of this. Actually, I'm going to spot prime them first. We've got 1, 2, 3 spots I've gone through. So I'll do them first, let them dry, and then I can crack on. Right, as this is literally just a spot prime, don't go whacking on a whole coat of primer. That's you're gonna lose where you are, where the layers are, and you'll get yourself in a mess. You'll have to start from scratch. You'll have to reblock, sand the whole thing. We are literally spot priming, and it is what it says on the tin. You just spot it in little tiny bits like that. You just want one coat, because many of this only has one coat of primer. You don't need loads of coats of primer. They don't form any strength or integrity to the overall paint job. They are just there to cover up the bare metal. So even if you've rubbed down and you've got 6 coats of primer at that spot and just one left in that, doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant as long as there is one coat. So when you spot priming, just a tiny spot, exactly what it says. And let it dry. If this was going to be a show bike, I might take more time over this. What I would do next, as I did on Penny's bash plate, I would put multicoloured layers of top coat, or medium coat if you want. So you put on a silver, then a black, then a silver and a black, like I did with that, and then you do the same with that. So you're putting top coat on and you're using that to make a mirror finish. You don't have to do that. Pro paint guys don't do it. But then the pro paint guys are making a living at it by fixing taxis that have got a fender bender. If you're building a show bike, if you're making something that's going to be, you know, like Mercedes-Benz paint or Rolls-Royce paint, then yes, you do it. You do it because that's the sort of standard you want. It's up to you. It's your bike, it's your project. It's how much you put into it dictates the result. I'm just going to irrigate first, wash all the particles off it, all the solids. Run it all off onto the towel. Just let that drain. And I'll dry it with a hairdryer, and that will take the moisture out of the surface, which is, this has still got microscopic scratches in the surface because I've been sanding it with 400 grit, so they're that 400 grit scratches, and they will hold moisture. No matter how much you wipe it with a cloth, you won't dry it out. You need warm air or sunlight to dry that out completely, and I haven't got any sunlight today because it's getting cloudier by the moment. Right, at this point, tack rags. I want to talk about these because this is going to be a little bit of a simple skills, I guess. If you can afford them, get yourself some tack rags. They are specialist paint equipment for paint shops. You can buy them online though. Just look them up on any of the sales sites, eBay or whatever. They're like a lint-free cloth. I think they're cotton based, and they're impregnated with a well, they're called tack rags for a reason, because they're tacky. They stick to everything. They've got like the stuff that goes on tennis racket handles, you know, it's like, it's all sticky. They've also got a degreaser in them, which actually chemically neutralizes any grease, and they'll pick up every little bit of dust. So you firmly wipe over the whole part with a tack rag, and that takes everything off. If you're going to use chemicals to clean that now before paint, like thinners, then you're just going to melt that and trash it and have to start again. So don't use chemicals. When you've got your fully prepared surface, then just use a tack rag. Right.
Lost his way to the night.
there we go. You know the drill. Can't do no more. That's what is it? 4 hours. 9:30 came in here, started setting up. So 1:30 now. So 4 hours today just to paint those. It was good to get the time to paint that a second layer. It was just literally a blowover of half a tin of silver that I had left, so it wasn't proper, it wasn't right. It looked horrible, there were scratches in it. So that's now all smooth, just like that is. The tail is now done. That's it. Really happy with that so far. Now, the next thing is, obviously, you know the drill. You have to let it dry. That's got to have 48 hours before I can maul it about. You go putting the fasteners in underneath that hold it, and the washers will stick to it, and then they'll mark the paint. So I want that to harden right off for the next 48 hours. It is midweek now, so at the weekend I have a little pledge for you. I'm going to roll that out and give you a proper walk round. Loads and loads of you have been asking again and again if you can have a proper walk round of the project so far. What does it look like so far? Where are we? And I think we do need to take stock. I think it's time for a little audit of the build. We just need to look round it. I'm going to roll it outside. It's absolutely minging. There's kind of a caked on patina of dust that's built up with sanding and grinding and painting and, you know, all that filler dust. It's all over it, and it's all in the little tiny crevices. So I'm going to roll it out, get the power washer on it, I'm going to wash everything off, get it completely clean, dry it all off with the airline, buff it all up, put the bodywork on the back, stick it up on the paddock stand, and give you a proper series of walk round photographs. And I'll do a proper scan round of it as well, before and after, when it started, a few of the stages along the way. I've got all the pictures and where it is today. And where it is today is pretty cool, because all I've got to do now is on the front, either side of the fuel tank, there are, on the frame, there's a couple of air intakes that go into the airbox. They're just kind of naked plastic outlets. They're not meant to be seen. They originally had big feed tubes coming off the full front fairing going into them, so they're a bit redundant now, but I do want to retain them. You can't block them off, they feed the airbox. Obviously you've got to have them open, so I'm going to make something pretty cool for that. I don't know what. That's one little job. And obviously the front mudguard, that is it. Yeah, that is it. Once the front mudguard's made and those tubes are made, I'm done practically with fabrication. Then it's a case of going over it all, where the speedo goes. I've got to make that little steel box I made. I'm going to make a better one. That's rubbish. I'm going to do better than that now that I've come along the way. There you go. The tail itself, few jobs to do on that. May relocate the ECU, don't know. But now I've got to that point where I can see the end of the fabrication. I can start to plan what's after that, because what after that is really pretty straightforward. It's rip off all the parts that are going to be changed, take every part that's going to be painted to the painters and powder coaters and get all that done, and then it's just a final assembly. And I think once the bike is assembled, I'm going to paint the frame, I'm going to powder coat the swing arm, I'm going to powder coat the wheels. The shock that's going in is pretty cool. It's kind of a mint green colour, but it's staying that way because it's a really cool shock and I want it to stay looking cool. And then finally it's Mackie Bass for the paint. I want that to be the last thing, because I want it to be the crescendo. I want it to be the peak of the job where everything comes together at one time. Putting that bodywork on needs to be done when the rest of the bike is finished, so that's what that will be. So there we are. I pledge, I hereby stand up and tell you, I promise, this weekend that will be outside, washed off, assembled, and a walk round, and I think it's more than overdue for that. Here we go. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, ride safe. Appreciate all your support. We'll see you at the weekend.